For many years, Nintendo fans across the world have begun building ships so powerful that it can sail the rough waters of the high sea. But is this completely normal? Is this completely justified? Ever since the Nintendo Switch 2, there's been a lot of things about Nintendo that aren't so happy customer. Because the Nintendo Switch 2, the high prices. Now, what exactly is it about the Nintendo Switch 2? Now, this console isn't a bad console to be saying, but looking deeper into it, you really gotta question some business decisions. So let's start off to the basics of buying your first Nintendo Switch 2. So you buy this console, $500 or heck, $800 if you live in Canada or anywhere else. I don't know what the price tags are, but you buy this console. You're like, I'm gonna have fun playing my 4K games at a high FPS, and it's going to be amazing. But oh wait, you have to pay for that feature. To even play in 4K, a thing that's been out for a very, very long time, you have to pay sometimes $5, $10, $20 just to play your new game in 4K, or should I say, your old game in 4K. A technology that's definitely been out for many years. But if we look at then the new games, $70, $80 for a brand new Nintendo Switch 2 game. Well, okay, that's good. We haven't seen a Mario Kart game in over 10 years. Now you jump into Mario Kart, you play the game for a couple hours, and you notice there's some things missing. There's definitely a lot of things missing, but you can't quite put your finger on it. So yeah, tippity-typity-typey, you head over to Reddit and you see, my golly, what is there to do in this game? We're missing the ability to be able to pick 3-lap races. We're missing the ability to have more P buttons until they added it 3 months later. We're missing the ability of a lot of things in this game, but it's not just that. $80 for Mario Kart might be crazy, but when you look deeper into the games, you see that, wait a minute, there's no games. Wait, on launch, there was yet but one Nintendo Switch exclusive game, and then we got more later, which is a very, very sad and scary thing, because now you are forced to get a third-party game, which isn't a bad thing, I would say. Third-party games are definitely a very good thing. But then when you're taking a shift over to accessories, accessories is really where some of you might have said, you know what, this is my last straw. It was over about $120 for a controller. Oh wait, that's in Canada. It was over $80, $90 for a controller, which is the craziest thing to say. How is this controller so expensive? I need this remote to play on my Nintendo Switch 2. But now, when you're looking directly at directs, you see that things that were once $20 are now $40. If you look all the way back in 2010, when Super Mario Galaxy 2, Super Mario Galaxy 1 were really the high spot in Nintendo as a whole, there was a Nintendo Choice version of Galaxy, which really put the price down. $20 for that entire game was a crazy deal at the time, and honestly, it still is a crazy deal. But now you're paying $40 for a game that's, 10 years old? Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right. Exactly. That's what's really causing everyone to sail the high seas. But is this true? Or is there another reason why? Is there something else up afoot? Pokemon games. The Pokemon games have always been something that every Nintendo fan wants as a whole. Something that we want to see return, the original Pokemon games. But it looks like the Pokemon company is taking their foot off the gas and saying, you know what? We're gonna release whatever game we want to because we're only the biggest media franchise in the world with a pretty poor budget in Pokemon. You can tell that the Pokemon games definitely haven't experienced the quite light that they really wanted to experience in a long time. But that's not fair. Hey, Pokemon games were running on the Switch. The Switch is a bad console. No, that's completely egregious. But now you look at that and you're like, maybe it's understandable. Everyone wants to play their old favorite games and they don't want to pay this premium price tag for an old game. Like if you look at Luigi's Mansion Dark Mood, now that did get a remaster, or should we say just a port, and it was $80. That is a crazy number. Somehow that game goes up $30 with barely any upgrades, which is a crazy thing to say. How is that game so expensive? That's the big problem with Nintendo as a whole right now. Expensive, expensive, expensive. It would make sense if they re-released games on the Virtual Console. Now the Virtual Console is definitely an amazing masterpiece because you were able to buy your own game for a lower, cheaper cost, and you had that. Or they released a physical version, but more for like $40 if there's no upgrades whatsoever. It would make a lot more sense, something like that, but hey, Nintendo is a strange company. Yeah, let's just put it that way. Very, very strange, very, very high C worthy, very, very frustrating. But at the end of the day, you make up your own decision if you're going to sail the high seas together. Now, of course, I'm not a very big pirate. I'm not a very good pirate. I think I sunk my boat long time ago, and now I live on this land with Nintendo as a whole. Contrary to popular belief, piracy is illegal, so do not do it. Unless you have a very good reason, but even at that, it is still highly illegal, and Nintendo ninjas will probably come after you for it. They will literally knock down your door and say, "Hey, Buster, what are you doing there? I see that pirated copy. You better run." So just please, don't do anything illegal. Now, I think it's fun to mod consoles. Now, that is not technically illegal because you own the hardware. Contrary to what Nintendo thinks you do, you own the hardware, so you can do whatever the heck you want with your hardware. But when it comes to software side of it, it's illegal. Don't do it. That's bad. So yeah, anyways, that's what I really want to talk about. High prices, high everything. It's just a little bit scary out there for Nintendo fans across the universe. You want to look at it, you want to say, you know what, I'm excited for some games, which I am excited for some games, but the prices really make you question everything, shaking your head and wondering, am I starting to shift to becoming a pirate, or am I doing something different, completely different? Anyways, keep your hands dry and stay away from any piracy. Stay away from Captain Jack Sparrow, or else something bad might happen. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed. And with that being said, see you in the next one. Pirates away.